So I was doing a bit of mulling around, a bit of thinking. I'm in my creative headspace right now, so that's why you're seeing like 3, 4 videos coming out all at once. But a lot of us men weren't raised with fathers. Let's be real, man. Like me personally, I wasn't raised with a father. I learned a few things from my father, who wasn't actually my real father. He was my stepfather. I learned a few things like the value of self-discipline. But he was a very aggressive man. He was a violent man. He terrorized the house and he terrorized other people. So my image of a man was that a man is a brute. Like a man is a dictator and a brute. And that's strength, that's power, that's. And whilst I never really. And went completely against my upbringing with my mum, because my mum raised me for like 6, 7 years by herself. So I learned a very feminine approach to life through her, very kind, compassionate, very gentle kind of approach. And then through him I learned a very violent, aggressive approach. So to implement the two together has been a bit of a struggle my entire life. It's either or. It's like I can either be kind and nice and good to others, but then if you do that too much you become a people pleaser. And then I would adopt the other approach, which is being this aggressive, horrible brute who doesn't get his way, just throws a tantrum, just gets pissed off at other people. And usually that was my masculine side. My masculinity came out in aggression. But this year has been really interesting because I've managed to integrate both, and I've realized that actually a real man is very kind to those people in his tribe, to people that he likes and that like him. He's indifferent. He can be still pleasant to people he doesn't know or people who are even against him. He can be pleasant or kind towards them, but he's not dependent on their validation for his sense of self, which is where I went short when I was wrong. When I was younger, I would be way too focused on random people's approval of me for some reason. Um, the other one was when to put your foot down, when to be aggressive, or when to get angry, or when to, assert your boundaries. I thought if you did this, you're a bad person. You're a person who's going to ruin the relationship. Relationship should be all stable, right? No. Sometimes you've got to say things how they are, and you've got to put your foot down. But of course, you can't put your foot down if you don't know what your boundaries are, and if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you'll tolerate. You don't know. And if you weren't raised with a father, you most likely weren't raised with principles. Your mum won't teach you principles. Your mum will teach you how to behave, what's socially appropriate, sometimes to your detriment, because don't get me wrong, being a gentleman, being kind, being compassionate, being warm, being gentle is the great traits, man. Like they're very good traits to have. But you've got to couple that with strength. Yeah, you've got to couple that with strength. You've got to couple that with an integrity, a kind of inner strength. You need to learn that in your life. If you don't have that already, life is going to make you have that anyway. You can't go through life with just the kind, compassionate attitude. You can, but it needs to be coupled with an inner strength. Yeah. So you can't become people pleasing. So the way you get that inner strength is through, first, you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself as you are, not as you want to be, as you are. Journal. Start journaling. Journaling has changed my life because there's nothing to hide. Yeah, there's nothing to hide because either it's going to be in your thoughts in your head or it's going to be in the paper. Doesn't matter. So just journal and write down your problems, write down the things that you struggle with. You will work it out. Trust me, journaling is a great thing. When you verbalize your problems and write it down and work through them like that, trust me, you will sort it out. Meditate so that you can get a bit of clarity, a bit of distance through your thoughts, a bit of a. There's literally a scientific term for it. It's called cognitive distancing, and it's used in the Stoic philosophy as well. You're just taking a little break from being the what do you call it? The neurotic movements of in your mind. You're just taking a little break from it. You're taking a little bit of a gap, and you're seeing it objectively in some way. And you're like, well, this is a bit irrelevant. This is a bit stupid. This is a bit of a waste of time. But you don't do it with judgments. Yeah, meditation is all about watching and redirecting the mind to a more productive end. So that's a great way, okay, to distance yourself from thoughts which may be bothering you. You can see them objectively and you can actually start either sorting them out and taking action and improving yourself. Trust me, it works like a charm. The third is the only way you're going to know this one is if you've done the first two. Know your strengths and know your weaknesses. And the fourth, would be get in the gym and take up martial arts. Okay, and the reason I say get in the gym is because the gym is a solid hobby and a great way to test your self development in practice. Yeah, because it takes mental strength to number one go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym in half an hour. I'm gonna walk there. It takes mental strength to do that, and it takes mental strength to then go through and put yourself through voluntary pain. You don't have to. You don't have to put yourself through the pain. You don't have to, dude. But you're choosing to do it, and you're choosing to push yourself, and you're choosing to make it hurt, and you're choosing to make those reps count. You will build muscle. You will be rewarded by the gods, yeah, for doing this, for these labors. You will be rewarded by the gods with an aesthetic physique. You'll be rewarded by the gods with a little bit of self-esteem, a kind of inner peace, knowing that you did something productive today. You will be rewarded by the gods with validation from others. You will get the validation from others because they'll see the work that you put in and they're going to respect you for it. So you'll get respect and you'll get a bit of external level of success there. And anyone can do it. Like anyone can do this, and it takes work, but anyone can do it. A gym membership doesn't cost that much. The food and the diet isn't that much of a problem. It's just a few fundamentals you got to learn. Eat meat. That's it. Pretty much eat more meat. Eat lots of veggies. Eat carbs, but lower them just a little bit, and eliminate the unnecessary shit out of your diet. So the sugars and anything that you know is already unhealthy for you. You know it's unhealthy. No one needs to educate you on this. You know what's unhealthy and you know what's healthy. And go to the gym and work out. And martial arts because you don't know how to fight. Or rather, you haven't, and it's not even just you don't know how to fight, you don't even know your male potential as an aggressor. To develop that inner strength I talked about, you need to see your inner strength, you need to see your capacity for violence, your capacity for destruction. Because masculine energy is powerful, directed energy, but it can be either used to create things, it can be constructive, or it could be destructive. You want to see the destructive element so that you know what power you have, because then only then can you use it to be constructive with other people. Only then can you use it to help people and uplift them. But you will not be able to do that if you have not seen the destructive power that your masculine energy is capable of. So learn a martial arts and see and practice and spar and watch how your powers of destruction can literally grow. Your powers to kill someone, to put it bluntly, you watch them and you see them, and then you know you have it. Yeah, you know you've got the power. Like jiu-jitsu, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 3 months, and I'm yet to still see me, you know, put someone in a chokehold or a submission. But through it being done to me, it's terrifying to know that this person has the power to kill me. But I'm trying to get to that position where I have the power one day to kill someone. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go out there and be a violent fuck. I just want to know myself that when push comes to shove, can I take care of myself? And that's it. So learn a martial art, and then you go out into the world. And of course, the sixth and the final one is philosophy. If you were not raised by a father, you most likely do not have principles. Talked about this before. You need to start to learn those principles. And you'll only start to get what you hold, what your values are, what you actually value in life. You'll only start to know this when you do all of these practices that I've spoken about, where you've journaled, you've meditated, you're going to the gym, you know your weaknesses and your strengths. You're doing a martial art. You're going out and socializing. You're going out and practicing. You're going out and living life. You will start to see trends. You will start to see things that pop out to you, and you are going to begin to improve on them. And you will begin to see what are the commonalities that are going wrong in your life and what are the commonalities that are going right. And then you'll begin to see what you value and what you don't value. And when people do things that you don't value, you will either be indifferent to it, you won't reward it, like as you have, or you will nip it in the bud, which is called assertiveness. And you can only really be assertive if if you've done all the things that I've spoken about. You will not be assertive if you've not done all the things I've spoken about, because number one, you won't know yourself. Number two, you will not have seen your powers of destruction. And number three, why do you need to be assertive if you're not doing those things? You're not yourself. You're not being yourself. You're being a fake version of yourself, and the fake version of you doesn't need to be assertive because he's fake. So learn and do the things I've said, and develop yourself to that level where you are a man, because that's what you are. That's what your journey is. If you haven't been raised by a father, your whole life journey is about embodying the male spirit, and you can't embody the male spirit if you don't put in the work. All right. So I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.